Hi everyone, this is Medium and Channel Bonnie Vent. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. There's always like the last minute technical difficulties happening. So I just want to make sure there's a little bit of a delay. So I just want to make sure that you can hear me. I see Elijah. Pamela was in earlier. So let me know if you can hear me. We're going to get started. I have a very interesting message from the connection, which was channeled today. And we can also do some card readings as well. Just waiting for everyone to show up because we just have one person right now. So just want to make sure that you can hear me. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This will be recorded for people that want to watch it later on. I see 2 people have joined us, so welcome. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. Just want to make sure before I get started. There always seems to be technical difficulties. So we're going to do a reading for everyone. And then I'm going to read the channeled message. It just came through earlier today, so it's really like hot off the presses for sure. And then I can do individual readings if we have time at the end, individual cards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. While everyone's coming in, hopefully. I know it's also Cinco de Mayo, so maybe people are out having their margaritas, which would be a good way to spend the evening also. Okay, so here's a card for the group. It's the Queen of Air, independence, experienced, realistic, and witty. Objective decision making, which is very interesting because that ties in with the messages for tonight on the channel message. Clearing away all that no longer serves you, seeing the humor in a situation. And here is the card, which I had all set up a whole different way to do these cards. And of course, it died at the very last minute. Anyway, I'm endlessly fighting with technical challenges, but somehow or other, we get it. We get the job done. So that is for the entire group, for everyone. And so objective decision making is really, like I say, a very key message that the connections had for quite some time about choosing and choosing very wisely and educated choices. And they talk about this tonight as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of a drink. Okay. Welcome to everyone who's coming in. I see we got a few new people. I'm Bonnie Vent. I'm a medium and a channeler. And my website is bonnievent.com. So those that are interested in readings or artwork, because I also do artwork as well. It's good to have a creative outlet. And of course, I put, light encoding into my artwork as well. And so it has a very feel-good aspect to it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the message, and this will only be the second time I've read it. So Bear with me if I stumble over some words, but usually things flow pretty well. So today is 5/5/2021, which makes it the 555 portal. And so it's a very interesting set of numbers as well. And the caption for this one is to be a crazy inventor, which I know one person in particular who would find that very appealing. So here we go. Greetings, dear ones. We send this message to you in a time of great change. New beginnings happen in cycles, and some new beginnings are personal and some are global. We have given you many messages in advance of the great changes ahead on the global scale. We have told you the old systems are going away and new systems must be created. Many did not take these messages seriously as they seemed impossible to imagine. These new systems fly in the face of the old systems. We suggest you examine them with careful thought. Do you like the direction of the old systems? Or perhaps do new systems that do not divide and label provide a much needed breath of fresh air? In order for systems to function well, there needs to be a basic spirit of cooperation with nature and the natural order of life and the living. When there is disruption, the system will fall into dis-ease until a natural balance is once again achieved. All of your man-made systems that focus solely on monetary gain at the expense of all else are in this state of dis-ease. There is an unnatural control of resources and freedoms that are very harmful to the human spirit. We remind you again that you must choose wisely. If you have no understanding on a topic, then please research for yourself, gain knowledge, and use your power of discernment to make the choice for the best and highest good. It has never been a good idea to go along with the crowd or to feel forced into direction you have no desire to go. Go your own way and work with your own guidance systems. It may be lonely at times, but that is to keep you from falling into a harmful state due to lack of thought or choosing what the crowd is choosing. When a crowd is running blindly in one direction, run the other way and build things in this counter direction. Bright new ideas are always counter to the crowd. The greatest creator beings and famous inventors were all thought to be crazy in their own lifetimes. Now they are honored for their great contributions to humanity. Be more of that, dear one. Humanity needs new and wonderful systems that have a natural balance and flow. Magnetism is a wonderful energy to explore. It attracts and repels. Both energy created is very powerful. Ponder spinning magnets with a spiral pattern, and you have liftoff. Until we meet again. So that is our channeled message. Welcome back, Polo 99 US. I'm glad you made it back. And so it's very interesting. Those of you who follow my work know that I always like to do little experiments almost every time I do this, and today being no different. I ordered it's a necklace, but it generates negative ions, and I'm wearing it right now, and you charge it up, and here it is, and it puts out negative ions. And if you're not familiar with what negative ions are, it's very similar to when you go to the beach and the crashing of the waves on the beach. And the energy is very positive And so it's an air purifier in the scientific sense. And so it repels things like pollen and negative energies in the environment, bacteria and things like that. So it also has a health aspect in the physical realm as well as a spiritual aspect with the negative ions. And so it's interesting to see what is going to come from having this in my environment now, and see what it does with the channeling one way or another. I did notice today that the energy was really extra in every sense of the word. And so I felt like, okay, you really need to get on board and do this channeled message live today, because I've been kind of toying with, doing the live sessions and not. And I tend to wind up being too exhausted. And I think that that's happening to a lot of people. There's just so much energy coming in that it's actually exhausting and difficult to process. And so I thought, okay, well, I have my little negative ions here, and I don't know what's going to happen with that one way or the other. But since I have a small little group of people here, one of the things, yes, I did see the angel numbers. Yes, I did. 555 for sure. And so one of the things that I was wondering about is what the audience preference might be with reading channeled messages as opposed to actually doing the live channel where you see them coming directly through. And is that too much for some people? Or is it something that we now need to be aware of and be more? Because I've done both. And what I notice is that when I do channel, for me, it's more interesting to go back and look, because if I'm channeling an individual like Tesla or Michael Jackson or something like that, you can actually see the change in the personality. And of course, it's live, and I always have a clock behind me so that you know that nothing is ever edited from these live sessions. So you don't have to worry about, was anything doctored or changed from beginning to end. And so I was just wondering if anyone had any particular opinions on whether or not you'd prefer, because it's a little bit heavier to process, perhaps, than what some other people are doing, which is just, pull the cards and doing the light little readings kind of thing. And I can do any and all of those things. I just want to do something that is the most useful to the people that watch this. And the people that watch it live tend to get more out of a card pulled for them personally than people that watch it later because it's not for them. And so they tend to, kind of blow through those. But it tends to be when I pull cards that the cards I pull are pertinent for everyone who sees the video. And that's just kind of how quantum works. If you're drawn to my work, then it resonates with you, and there tends to be messages in there for you. And I've noticed lately that the connection tends to be talking more to the creative people, and that people who are creative but have not been using their creative abilities start turning those abilities on and using those going forward as the systems, as they're saying, the existing systems, as they fall away. And you can actually see that occurring now. We need to create new systems. And so we need people that are very creative. And we also need people that are supportive of the people that are creative, because we, tend to be looked at because we're different. We're different than the average crowd person. So that's something I was wondering, what do you feel would be a benefit to you? And if you say all of the above, that's fine too. because I don't mind mixing things up. I like to do a little bit of experiment, a little bit of channeling, a little bit with the cards and things like that, and just kind of mix it up so that it's not the same thing, every time. And I really would like to get back into the work with Tesla. I've been trying to locate someone who is an expert on Tesla, who can ask really, really good questions. Because some of these inventors that are over on the other side now actually are putting information out into 3D, and people that are receivers, such as myself and others, many others, are actually able to receive information from that dimension into ours that's very beneficial and helpful for us. And as we go forward, it's going to be helpful to have the ability to tune into that kind of thing and to assist people. They did bring up in the channeled session that I just read a few minutes ago, they brought up magnetism. And that seems to be one of the key factors going forward for free energy and those sorts of things, that the magnetism is free energy, and it actually does lift things and can make things move. And I'm sure that there's probably people that are actively working on that right now. I just don't know who they are. So Elijah's saying that he likes the live readings. Okay. And so, yeah, I can always pull cards for people. And so if we don't have any additional feedback, I guess I will go ahead and do that. So if you want to post into the chat, if you would like me to pull a card for you, then I'd be more than happy to do that. And I will start with Elijah, because I know he wants me to pull a card for him. And then anyone else who'd like to join in. The main thing for me really is to get the channel messages out in the best possible format so the most people see them. This information tends to be suppressed. It's not just political information that's suppressed on social media. It's also anything that is self-empowering. And so, of course, I'm all about self-empowerment. That's part of my core mission, is to help people to get where they need to go, and provide opportunities and things like that to guide people through. Okay, so we'll do this one for Elijah, and I will try and figure out the camera. Okay. 4 of water, missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get that so you can see it. Okay, so that's just a little kick in the butt to get going on your projects, and make sure that you've got things moving along. And I think magnetism means something to you as well. Okay, Polo 99 US. Yeah, I wonder how many people saw the 555 and recognized it as being 3 5s instead of just 2. I think some people missed the fact that it's 3, which is very, very powerful creative energy, by the way, numerology speaking. New beginnings, starting new projects, getting creative, pondering, thinking up new things, that sort of thing. Okay, so Polo 99, you have the moon. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. And you'll find that, as I say, when I pull these cards, they always tend to coincide with the channeled message in some way. And the people that ask for a reading usually are the creative types that this applies to. So this is all about tuning in And as the channel message said, listening to your own guidance systems and not being afraid to just go ahead and try new thoughts and ideas. You can always change your mind if you don't like the result. It's not a big deal. It's not a, oh, you pass or you fail. It's, you just keep trying until you find what works best for you and for new opportunities going forward. So it's all about that creative energy. Okay, Carrie, nice to see you. Carrie used to come to my live sessions at the Healthy Spirit when I used to be there. Unfortunately, live events have not come back yet. And, oh, you're welcome. But we can do things with live streaming too, which is one of the things I was also thinking about was setting up to have like maybe 6 people on camera with me. You'd all be in your own houses and your own little video cubes, like Zoom does, and maybe doing the channeled sessions that way. And then you would be able to ask me questions directly because I'd be able to hear you. It wouldn't be through chat. So if anyone's interested in that, please let me know. Okay, this card is for Carrie. 9 of Water. Your wish comes true. Concerns fade away. A love of life. So I would say that Carrie is probably doing exactly what she wants to be doing. And that's a very, very good thing. So this is just really a message to just keep going with what you're doing. And keep tuning in, keep your own insights. Don't be swayed by other people's thoughts and opinions. You can take them in and consider them, but don't let them talk you out of anything. Yeah, there's a big surge of creativity. Very, very big surge. Is that a tirade 8? I see you up there. And you would like a card? Okay. Okay. 9 of Earth. Enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. See, there again, it's all about building your own path, individual, from the, what do I want to say, the norm social structures we've been used to. Because with what happened with COVID, literally everything came to a standstill, and lots of jobs went away and maybe not be coming back. And so this is tied in with that of enjoy the small things. You don't have to be a millionaire. You can be self-employed and be comfortable and enjoy the small things. It's not a get rich quick scheme kind of situation. So if you are attracted to that kind of thing, stay away from it. Listen to your own guidance system. Get yourself some training, but you don't necessarily have to buy into someone else's training that's thousands of dollars to get yourself some training. There's plenty available, anything that you have an interest in. And I do suggest that you start with things that you enjoy and go from there, because that usually the things we enjoy the most are the things that are part of our core purpose for being here. And we set them aside because, oh, I have to pay bills and I have to make money and that sort of thing. Well, now is the perfect time to go ahead with whatever it is that you're wanting to plot for yourself next. And so, yeah, it's a very, very creative time. Oh, you're welcome. And I didn't mean to skip you. It's good, I guess, in a sense that there's not very many people here, so I don't have to worry about the chat going by too fast. But there does seem to be a significant delay in the chat. So one of the other things I wanted to share with you guys is the artwork that I do, and I just have one right here that I will share with you, and it has a lot of different meaning to me, but basically it's pretty for one, and then you also have the beauty that is the Fibonacci spiral, which is in nature. The connection is very big on tuning in with nature and working with things that have to do with nature. And so I have done all kinds of art pieces, and they're up on my website, and which is down here at the bottom, bonnievent.com, and you just say /shops, and that will take you to that page. And also, if you're interested in a reading, and I do have a very reasonable, very, very reasonable personal one card pull reading that I do on my website. And you also get a copy of the card and the full definition of the card as well. And it's yours to keep. Whereas the ones I do here are very short and sweet. The ones that I do off of the website, I really, very solidly tune in and get information. I did have it's a very odd experience. I had a person who paid for a reading, and it was one of the email readings, and they can ask 2 questions. And all he did was provide me with a name. And I gave him back a whole bunch of information identifying who this person was, what time frame this person lived in, what their personality traits were, and everything else just from a name. So for me, it's a wonderful way to be able to sit and just tune in and get pure, solid information and send it back to you. And you don't have to worry about, did you get cueing from, so if I sit with you, it's, did I say something and that's why she knew? You don't have to worry about any of those things. It's just pure psychic ability at that point. And I like that very high bar because there's a lot of people that are doing this kind of work and it's not legit. So I'm very interested in, making sure that I prove out everything that I do as much as I possibly can. It's one of the significant differences that I have is that I will actually go above and beyond and try and prove out information historically if I can. I do go out to haunted locations and things like that as a field research medium and pick up information there. And that information will then come back and be researched to see if we can identify that person historically. So to me, that's very, very important work to be doing as well. So crystal clear, what a great handle. It's funny because I get a song. It's a very old song, but I'm an old person. It's crystal clear persuasion. So I think you have the art of persuading people, which is a very good skill to have. That song is playing in my head. Okay, crystal clear. You have the 3 of Earth, the power of creativity. See, I told you guys, there's 78 cards, and I keep pulling creative cards. Recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. So it may be for you that you need to use your art of persuasion and pick up some people to assist you in the work that you're trying to do. Yeah, that's what I'm sensing, is that there's a project that is missing a few elements, and that you need to fill in those spaces with other people's talents and abilities. Don't expect to be able to do everything all on your own. And it is harder. I'm working by myself right now. It's a lot more difficult than if you have a group, because you put that energy together with other people's energy, and things just take off. It's just great, if you have like energies mixed together using all of their skills. Hi, Juanita. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I know Juanita wants me to pull a card for her, so I will go ahead and do that. Ten of Air, the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now, recovering from an addiction. So that's your card. Sorry, I hope you can see that okay. So yeah, old situations are ending for a lot of us, and new situations are coming in. And that's the creative element too, is that as things end and there's a gap there, it's up to you to figure out what are you going to fill that gap with. And things are closing up. Things that used to work aren't working the same way, or they aren't working at all. And new creative ways need to be put in play. And so that's part of that message as well. So it's not so much of something's coming to you opportunity, as in what do you want to create for yourself. So you're more proactive in generating what you want that opportunity to be. There's a lady that's coming through right now, and she's a grandmotherly type of figure. Her hair is short and curled under. So she would be dressed in like a 40s, 50s time frame. Yeah, she's showing me the dress and pearls. Like if you're familiar with like Leave It to Beaver and that kind of thing, she's from that time frame. So someone who sees this, or maybe someone who's in the chat later on, might recognize who that person is. Yeah, it's funny because she's saying she has the same name as my grandmother had, which is Ida Louise. So and she's just popping in to say hello. It may actually be my grandmother, come to think about it. Which would actually make a little bit of sense, because she used to read tea leaves, and she used to read cards also. And she grew up in England, just outside of Sherwood Forest in Nottingham. And so it was very much what they did for entertainment, was to read cards and tea leaves and levitate people in chairs. And so I grew up with that kind of an environment. So I guess I was kind of born into what I'm doing, whether I realized it or not, because I really didn't realize that this is what I was going to wind up doing. Actually, I had a whole career in software development, which is why I fuss so much about technology, and because I used to work in quality assurance. It was my job to make sure that things were working before it went out to the consumer. And of course, now it's like we're our own QA people. So yes, Michael Jackson's been around a little bit. Very excited about the renovation taking place at Neverland, and that they're bringing back some of the original things, and the rides and things like that. And a long time ago, I asked him if he had his wish, what would he want to have happen with Neverland Ranch? And what he said is that he still wanted it to be a place for a healing place for children, and that he wanted the rides and everything put back, but he did not want the zoo put back. He did not want the exotic animals there. He said instead he wanted very large, friendly dogs instead of the exotic animals. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, I've made it known to people that can put a bug in the right ear, that that's what his wishes were, and it does seem to be that finally, after all this time, that that's what is happening. And the statues, I think, too, are going to be brought back, because there were statues all over the property there, and those are very special to him too. So yes, he's been around, and I think he's still influencing people in their music and that sort of thing. He's one of the creator people that is, as they put it, putting packets together that gets sent over here to be received over here. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Yes, Michael is a very good person, very misunderstood, and very hard life, because he couldn't just walk around out in the street without, being mobbed by people who said they loved him. But, it was such a scary thing to have that many people coming at you. And so he had to control his environment and stay kind of stunted in a way. He didn't get to really do things like a normal person. And a lot of my celebrity clients knew Michael Jackson and were surprised that he took interest in them. But he actually liked classic television actors, child actors in particular, and especially if they happened to do any kind of artwork or things like that. So some of my celebrity clients had visits from him because of, he was interested in the artwork that they were doing. And so it's interesting, because I didn't realize that I knew people that knew him until after he passed away. And then I started getting the channeled information and trying to get it validated, and found that quite a few people that I knew also knew him. Okay, well, I hope everybody goes out and has a margarita and some chips and salsa. That's kind of what we do in San Diego. We have an area called Old Town, which obviously used to be downtown San Diego, and that's predominantly what you get is margaritas and chips and salsa and really excellent Mexican food. So, but I think a lot of the things are still closed. They're not open yet. Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that I got the channeled information out, and I will probably be doing more of these going forward. I've had some significant delays in my life too that have kind of prevented me from doing this work. So I'm trying to get back in the swing of things as well, and So hopefully we'll get things going here a little bit more. So I think everybody's very, very quiet. Either that or my chat isn't working correctly. I'm not sure which. So does anybody have any card requests before I go? Going once, going twice. Oh, you're welcome, Juanita. Thanks very much, Carrie. I appreciate you coming. And I know it was last minute, and that's just kind of how things are with me a lot of the time. So I'll try and plan these a little bit more ahead so that you have a little bit more notice. Okay, everyone. I think we're done for now. And everybody knows how they can get a hold of me. My website is bonevent.com. And yes, I do readings, and yes, I have artwork. And on the artwork, if you want something more high end, or if you're looking for frames or whatever, just let me know, because that's available also. And I can also do international shipping if you need that. So trying to get, as much out into the universe as possible. And that's my creative outlet, and that's what keeps me sane. And yeah, some of you have some of my artwork. I know Juanita does. And so I appreciate you guys very much. And thanks so much for coming. And I will see you soon, or as the connection says, until we meet again. Good night, everybody.